Like in some traditions, the warrior is seen as a person who walks towards their death, doesn't run away. And the thing is to get death from behind you, pushing you out to the front and walk towards it, because that's actually what you're doing.
Yeah. What do you think is needed for that? Courage?
Definitely a totally different attitude than fear.
Yeah.
Fear isn't going to help at all. I know when I was very ill myself and on the plane, it was so uncomfortable, so horrible, that it would have been an absolute benefit if it happened then. But as soon as you're not in the position where living is so awful, it's not your friend. That's the funny thing about it.
Oh, you're saying when your health is really bad, death is your friend.
It's your friend. It's the way out. If you're in a situation like where I was, with looking at the fact that my kidneys was failing and it was just so miserable, better to go. That's the solution to catastrophic kidney failure. Die. Yeah. So then it's your friend.
Close friend.
Yes. But when you're healthy, it's irrelevant. But you have to know that it's there. Yeah. That everything that you pin your value on, everything that you determine, every relationship you have, your whole life is prescribed by the end. Yeah. But instead of being afraid of that, it's not the right word. It makes life more intense, because you haven't got time to waste. You haven't got time to waste doing things that you don't want to do, or that you don't absolutely have to do. So what you have to do is understand what death is, what it means, and live as though it's not there. Yeah. Because there's no other way. Like the dog or the tree, they do that.
Yeah. Everything lives as though they're not going to die.
Everything does. Life itself does not die.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Because the whole thing of death is a concept until it happens.
Mm. But if you look in the natural cycle, the death of everything is benefit to something else. Yeah. The trees lose their leaves, they die and fall to the ground, make soil. Yeah. So the tree can't say, "Oh, death's an awful thing." Yeah. It's a cycling its nutrients.
Yeah. What would you say what I should do when you die?
Look for an open door and go through it. Don't look back. Yeah. What else can you do? Everybody who loses someone they're close to has to do that, because if they don't, then they make themselves miserable, because you can't get them back. But you're assuming something which is not necessarily true. It could be you that loses your life in Tajikistan in 3 months, and I'm here going, "Oh shit, what am I going to do now?" Not very nice. So, but what do? I've got to keep on living. I have to solve the problems and the issues and do something. And if it happens to you, it's exactly the same. You can't just stop living. You have to find a new life and get on with it. Yeah. You have to. You've got no choice.
Yeah.
You see the animals, like, with this dog here, if we had to go somewhere and we couldn't take it, we'd give it to someone, and that's it. And she'd run around looking for us for ages, and then eventually realise, well, that's it for them, and they're tapped to the new situation. That's what everything does.
Yeah.
If a fire goes through the forest, it kills all the trees. What can you do? New seeds.
Instantly.
Straight away. Yeah. But relationship with death, I don't think there is possibly one. Do you have a relationship with your birth? Not really.
No, indeed.
We'll go on endlessly.
You're right.
We go on endlessly about what happens after death, but what was there before birth? We never ever talk about it, think about it, nothing.
No.
No. It was just as unknown, isn't it?
Oh, we were there. It's slightly less unknown.
Yeah, but what do you know about it? Nothing.
I've forgotten.
Yeah. That's the whole thing, isn't it? Before birth, you did not exist. So what happens is you come into existence, you exist, you do everything that you do, and you pass out of existence. End of story.
No.
So what's important? Existence. Not wasting it.
No.
Not doing stuff you don't want to do. Not farting about.
No.
Living. Because that's all you got. Between that thing unknown called birth and the unknown called death, that's what you got. That's it.
No.
You can't wheel backwards, as Nietzsche said. The past is a distant country, just as the future is a distant country. So if you look around and you go, wow, future's unknown, birth's unknown, death's unknown. What are we surrounded by? Unknown. Why are we afraid of it? It's the only thing we got. And that's where Penacard's concept of cosmic confidence comes in. Because effectively, if you see all that, the only way you can move forward is cosmic confidence. It's formed basically by understanding that the universe is not against us. Because if it was, we wouldn't be here. There's your confidence. Life wants life. The universe is, if you want to use that word, what all these New Age people do, is all about having life in it.
Yeah.
So it's not against you. So the unknown is not against you. That's the whole business. We've set up this whole reality where the unknown is frightening, as it might be against us, it might be negative, but it's not. Because you're surrounded by unknown. You cannot determine these things. When you're born, you cannot determine even what sex you're going to be.
No.
You just popped out, there you are, you're in existence. So the cosmic confidence is understanding that more life is better. Not less, more.
Yeah.
And that's what everything that I see around me tries to do. More trees, more insects, more flies. That's the only reason why it doesn't succeed is because there's all kinds of feedback systems that stop them from the whole world be covering flies. And the same for us. We have limitations, natural limitations. And once we reach those, then life will push back and say, oh, I've gone too far now. Happens everywhere. In spite of what all the ecologists say about overpopulation, that always comes to a balance. These things happened for millions of years before we turned up. Species invaded, wiped out other species. Other species survived, other species pushed out those species. Been going on because that's life. Life's not a nice, easy thing. It's not in a nice, quiet, peaceful Buddhist type of enlightenment. It's always a struggle of some kind between forces. But as anyone who understands trees can point out. If there was no gravity, there'd be no trees. It's a force of gravity pushing on them makes them grow up.
Yeah.
So the fear of the unknown is a very destructive force for us. Because like if you see an animal and it hears something it doesn't know, its instinct kicks in. Right, I've got to protect myself, I've got to run, I've got to bark at it, I've got to attack it, whatever. But that's instinct. What we have is a mental thing, and it gets turned into anxiety. And nobody or anything can stay healthy if they're anxious. They can't. You have an anxious dog, how long is it going to live? Never going to catch anything. If you have a look at the wild creatures of the world, you never see any anxious ones. You might see a deer frightened with a dog chasing it, but you don't see an anxious pig in the wild. Or a tree that's suffering, like, oh my God, this life's so tough, I don't know what I'm doing here. They know exactly what they're doing. They're striving to get bigger and make more trees.
Only enslaved creatures are anxious.
That's right. Yeah. The enslaved creatures, a dog that's always chained up, the sheep in the paddock with a fence around it, anxious. Yeah. So you see what problem is. And if you look in our society now, general anxiety seems to be rising very rapidly. It's pointing to something. There's lots of people in the world who don't have the choice because they're born in poverty or they're born in places where they simply can't. But there's millions, if not billions of people who could have much more interesting, intense life than they got. That's a tragedy. It's not helping anybody.
What is the basis of their life if you stuck around on a piece of ground in your hometown?
Fear. Lack of courage. Desire for security. Desire for the known. Because the known is a bubble. And with all our knowledge and our thinking, our science and all that, we're expanding that bubble. Expanding. This is called progress. Still a bubble. What's on the outside of the bubble? Unknown. How big is the unknown? It's infinite.
Yeah.
And because the unknown is infinite, the known is infinitely insignificant, no matter what it does.
Yeah.
So if you put your trust and your belief in the known, you're deluding yourself.
Yeah. Because
the unknown's all around you.
सखी लाल कलंदर मस्त मस्त